Good evening and welcome to the Village of Westmont official voting board meeting for June 4th, 2012. I'd like to begin by having our clerk please take the roll call.
Mayor Ron.
Here.
The clerk's here. Trustee Emery is absent tonight. Trustee Fleming.
Here.
Trustee Klebanow.
Here.
Trustee Nero.
Here.
Trustee Scott.
Here.
Trustee Seneca. Here. Manager Searle.
Here.
Attorney Zimmerman.
Here.
I forgot him the other night. Police Chief Mulhern. Here. Fire Chief Wise.
Here.
Public Works Director May.
Here.
Finance Director Parker.
Here.
Human Resource Director Casey. Here. Community Development Director Malik.
Thank you. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First item, Village Board minutes. Board to consider approving the minutes of the committee, the whole meeting held May 17th and Village Board held May 21st. And the April 26th budget workshop meeting for fiscal year 2012-2013. Do we have
First,
a
let me, there are revised
Okay.
minutes up here for the budget meeting because the executive session wasn't included, so that's on there now. So that's all.
Motion to approve is corrected. Seneca?
Second, Scott.
I do have another correction that I had reviewed the Committee of the Whole tape. After Manager Searle had his report, he came back at the end of the reports to say that that we had just received the recognition for our CAFR and that he was going to add it to Monday's agenda. So there was just one more little item. That's all.
Okay.
That was the Thursday I was gone, right?
Right. I just didn't know if that should be added because he did mention that.
Okay.
Can add that, thank you. Any other questions? Roll call.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Fleming.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Okay, reports, Mayor. I would like to call Larry Forsberg forward to introduce a very special presentation this evening and give us all a little background.
Good evening, Mayor Ron and Village Board members. I'm here for a really important piece of business tonight. I'm here representing the Westmont Auto Mile. Recently, we just concluded a Cruise into Summer raffle. The Westmont Auto Mile members are a very important part of our business community here in Westmont. They contribute significant amounts of sales tax revenue to our village and are a very important part of our community. This drawing was open to all members of the military in the Chicago area, veterans and active military. All they simply had to do was go to westmontautomile.com and they could register there for absolutely free. It was another way where WHAM provided an opportunity to give back to the community. Right now, the Westmont Auto Mile does support community events such as the the Taste of Westmont, Holidays, the recent Red, White, and Barbecue, the Race to the Flag, and events like that. Through this partnership with the auto dealers in the village and the Park District and Westmont Special Events in the Chamber, it's been very productive. So we're going to draw a name tonight. I do want to mention the 7 participating members of our Westmont Auto Mile. We have Audi of Westmont, we have Infinity of Clarendon Hills, Laurel BMW, McGrath Acura, McGrath Lexus, Oakbrook Toyota, and Oakbrook Scion. Remember that all these car dealers are just award-winning, world-class dealerships, and we're very fortunate to have them here in town. And if you want to learn more about them, I encourage everybody who's listening tonight to go to westmontautomile.com to connect with them. Also want to say a special thank you to Mike from Weston Travel, who's working with us to help the winner of tonight's drawing to make all their accommodations for this 3-night cruise and round-trip airfare. Thank you, Mike. So without any further ado, we're going to have Mayor Ron, if you can please help us. And Silas, why don't you run up?
The pressure's on.
I'm not eligible for this, right?
No, you're not.
No. Oh, I have my 2 supervisors here, though.
What we have officials here.
Shake the box. Yes. I've got to make sure. You sometimes have a little confusion with the Westmont line is in the Westmont Rotary in their drawings. Okay, here it is.
Your hand's up.
I don't want to have anything to do with looking at it. Uh-oh. Well, it's in your hand already.
William Ron. Oh.
Yeah, right. What day do we leave?
Sean Kennedy from Palos Heights.
Yay.
He's a Marine. I don't know if he's a current Marine or a former Marine. Always a Marine.
That's right, always
good.
green.
That's right, yeah.
Thank you. We'll be calling Mr. Kennedy tonight to let him know that he's the winner of the raffle, and we'll be presenting the award shortly. Thank you for all your help.
Thank you.
And we want to say thank you to everybody for their support of the Westmont Auto. Thanks.
Thank you, Larry. Larry has spent an undetermined number of hours working with all of our car dealers to ensure that they provide sufficient money for our village activities because of the fact that we have obviously a downturn in our economy and every extra dollar, extra penny we can come up with. So I congratulate him on all his work and congratulate all the car dealers for their wonderful, wonderful participation in helping our community thrive. Thank you. Next, we have out in the hallway the Progressive Village Performance Network. We're going to give us a little demonstration back to the 80s, June 15th to the 17th.
Hi.
Hi.
Good evening. I brought some company. Our show Back to the 80s is taking place next weekend. So not this weekend, but next weekend. We're running the 15th, 16th, and 17th. 15th will be, of course, our premiere night at 7 o'clock. And then we have Saturday matinee at 1, and then on Saturday night, we're going to have like an 80s night where we're asking everybody to kind of dress up in costume and come. We're going to have contests, trivia contests with the 80s. We'll have some karaoke. We have some DeLorean cars kind of coming by to be parked out front, so it'll be a total event. So we're asking everybody to kind of show up early. And then we round it off on Sunday at 1 p.m. where we'll have a Back to the 80s sing-along. So the last show will actually be a sing-along. So you'll have lyrics to sing along with the cast. So I did bring some cast members with us, and we're going to go ahead and perform a couple of numbers. It's real quick numbers. We won't take much of your time here. And girls? And how do you turn this on? New technology.
What do you need me to do?
Turn it on. There you go. All right, we're ready. Are you ready, girls? Okay. Oops. Thank you very much. Go ahead and just say your names. Just go right down the line here.
Caleb, Aaron, Caitlin, Catherine, Lara, Devin, Samantha.
All right, thank you very much. Guys.
Come on, guys, shake it, shake it. All right.
Been working so hard, I'm punching my card. 8 hours for what? Don't tell me what I got. I got this feeling that I'm just holding me down. With the ceiling, else I'll tear up this town. Tonight I gotta cut loose, footloose, kick off your Sunday shoes. Please, Blue Breeze, pull me off of my knees. Jack, get back, come on before we crack. Lose your blues, everybody got footloose.
You're so funny.
You're playing so cool, obeying every rule. Deep way down in your heart, you're burning, yearning for somebody to tell me that life ain't passing me by. I'm trying to tell you, it will if you don't even try. You can fly if you only go loose, footloose, kick off your Sunday shoes. Marie, shake it for me. Oh, my love, come on, let's go. Lose your blues, everybody got footloose. Whoa, whoa, got footloose. Whoa, whoa, got footloose. Whoa, whoa, got footloose. Whoa, first you got to turn me around. Second, get your feet on the ground. Third, now take a hold of your soul. Kick off your Sunday shoes. Please, Louise, pull me off my knees. Jack, get back, come on before we crack. Lose your blues. Everybody got, everybody got, everybody got, everybody got, everybody got, everybody got, everybody got footloose.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Go ahead and state your name real quick. Ari, state your name. Ari, that's Ari. Okay.
Antonio.
Cameron, Joe, Ben.
Very good. We also have a cast member here. This is the guy who's going to be telling the story. He's our narrator, Dan Sparks. We have Jennifer White, who's been our choreographer, been great. And then we have Elaine Cosman and Sally Casaro helping with stage direction, and me and my assistant directors. So we're having a wonderful time, and we can't wait to put the show on. I can't wait to put it on. It's been like a few months, so we're really looking forward to it. We also have auditions coming in June 24th and 25th for Father of the Bride, which will be in September, and the Plays in the Park, which we've always done as well. So it's a night in the park with one-act plays. So that's coming up. So I appreciate it. Come and see us. All right. Thank you.
Mr. Plowman.
Yes.
Whatever we can do ever to help promote your group, a Progressive Village Performance Network, please do not hesitate to ask.
Thank
We
you.
are so happy that your group is here and doing as well.
We're just so happy of the continuous support we're getting from the community. And I mean, we started, like I said, we didn't expect much, and you guys have like overexceeded our expectations. So I think we're far enough ahead of where I thought we would be at this time. So I appreciate all your support.
If there are people watching this on TV tonight, tell them to come down, and how can they get hold of you to?
Actually, you can just call the Park District for tickets, so you can, or you can go ahead and reserve them online, or they'll be available at the door.
Okay.
This is actually at the Westmont High School Auditorium. Did I say that? Okay. That's
You
where it's
did
at.
now.
Okay. So
The
come
time,
join
the
us.
dates again.
Yeah, go.
The time and dates again are the 15th, 16th, and 17th. On the 15th, we have a 7 o'clock premiere. And then on Saturday, we have the 1 o'clock matinee. And then Saturday night is that 80s event that I was telling you about. And then that's at 7. And then on Sunday, it's at 1 p.m. again. And that's a sing-along. So
Very good.
thank you very much. Hey, this is your Park District at work too. They can't support us enough. So it's been a wonderful partnership, and these guys really
Ron
rock.
Gunter's sitting back there with a big smile on his face.
There you go.
Great.
Did I say that right?
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks again.
Thank you very much,
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
How cool is that?
And the next and the final thing that I would like to say this evening is I wish to congratulate my daughter, Heidi Rebecca Ron, and her husband, Tyler Phillips, who both graduated yesterday from Loyola University Medical School. She's going into pathology and at Northwestern, and he's staying at Loyola to study internal medicine. So yesterday was a great day.
Sure was.
And moving right along, our village clerk.
I just have a couple of announcements. First of all, the Public Works Committee meeting tomorrow, Tuesday, June 5th at 6 p.m. at the Water Department, right?
And remember, the crankers are going to
Well,
display
the
their
crankers
wares.
are going to do
That's
their
right.
thing, okay.
I know, and I'm going to miss it.
And that there is no community development meeting on Wednesday. I had a congratulations for Heidi and Tyler, too. That is such an accomplishment. You should be so proud. And don't forget the Fresh Market this Thursday, June 7th, starts at 4 and goes till 8, right on Burlington, right here along the tracks by the drugstore. And of course, Cruisin' Nights starts Thursday night, too. So
Okay.
everybody come out Thursday night. Hope for good weather. I assume we'll have good weather. It very seldom rains on one of those events, so.
Better not.
And that's all I have.
Very good.
Thanks.
Thank you. Our village attorney, John Semenak.
I have nothing tonight, Mayor.
Now we can start on the long list of items from our village manager. Ron Searle,
I have 3
welcome back from your
Thank you,
vacation.
appreciate it. First of all, I'd like to request an executive session on, excuse me, on pending litigation and personnel. And I also wanted to announce that this Thursday, I believe that's the 9th, our new website is going to be going live. We've talked about it frequently at a number of committee meetings. We've talked about it here. And I know Glenn Liljeburg on the IT side and the committees that we put together have worked hard. And we're really excited that this is going to be a tremendous improvement over what we currently have with much more interactive tools for the community to be involved in. So that is going to happen sometime this Thursday. I can't tell you exactly what time, but check the website, and we're sure by Friday it'll be up there, but sometime Thursday.
I do have one more item, too. I forgot to wish our manager a birthday, happy birthday. His birthday was yesterday.
Thank you.
Right? Right.
You're correct. Thank you.
Oh, that deserves a round of applause.
Yes, that does. A round of applause. A round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Ron.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I had one one last item.
Of course you
With the mayor's permission, I wanted to invite Ron Gunther, the executive director from the Park District, forward. I understand there were some comments made during open forum last Thursday regarding the litigation involving the Village of Oak Brook and the Westmont Park District, and he asked if he could just have a few moments to try to address some of those comments.
Any objections, board members?
Not at all.
No. Please, Ron.
Evening. I do have to say one thing about Mr. Plowman. This was his idea several years ago, and he's really developed this performing group into a class. I think we're going to all be proud of them. They've done a tremendous amount of work so far, and I think it was evident, the young people up here tonight. A couple things, and I think everybody did. I sent over the letter today, and I think everybody received that. Last Thursday night, I understand you had, unfortunately I wasn't here, maybe it's fortunately I wasn't here, but you had some people during open forum discuss what we referred to as the S-curve, which is the piece of property that is just west of Cass, right adjacent to pretty much Oak Brook Hills. That piece of property was the offshoot of when Cass Avenue was realigned back in about 84, 85. We accepted title in 87. And I think everybody kind of can follow through the history of it. We accepted title back in 87, and we've been maintaining it since then as a pretty much open green space to the community. It's probably a little under 3 acres of land. It has oak trees on it. It's kind of our first piece of property as you come around Cass Avenue. Back about 2-3 years ago, and I'm just going to quickly kind of summarize to where we're at now. The park board, and I think we shared that with the village board at the time, had an idea, which we thought was a good idea at the time, looking at our assets and looking at the limited amount of money we had available. We looked at the S-curve park and realized that it could be an asset if it was rezoned and maybe upscale townhomes if we had to sell it. Only to sell it to purchase, there's almost a 5-acre piece of property on South Wilmette that we have the right of first refusal on. And if the gentleman who wanted to sell it, we would have to hopefully have the money to purchase it. So the idea came up that for the best interests of this community, we would try to put that land up in a situation where if we had to sell it, we'd be able to get enough money to purchase this land south of 55th Street, where most of our development went in. When McNaughton went in, there's a whole bunch of single-family homes. We went through the whole process. The village, what we found out is one of the parcels was still in the village of Oak Brook. And unfortunately, it should have been disconnected years ago and brought into Westmont. Because of that, we decided to petition them to be de-annexed. They de-annexed that piece of property. And we're in the process of petitioning the village here to get that annexed in along with the other piece of property and ask for R4 zoning. At that particular time, we went through the planning and zoning, or the zoning, and we had a public hearing. It was approved. And then we found out that there was restrictions that were on the property that none of us were aware of. The restrictions call for the land to be passive open space. It was put on there in '87 by the Butler family, who did the development of Oak Brook Hills. When that happened, we withdrew our request for the pre-annexation and the zoning, realizing that there was no way we could get this type of zoning we needed. And we were going to go ahead and continue to operate as a passive park. In the meantime, Oak Brook repealed the ordinance that allowed us to be disconnected, in a sense, annexed us back in, which is about a little sliver of the 3 acres. It's about a 0.9 acre, just a little less than an acre. So when they did that, it kind of, we didn't do anything. It was basically, we already withdrew our request. And 11 months passed, and I think I mentioned that. And if we wanted to take any legal action to get that piece of property back into our hands, it's our property to begin with, to get it back out of Oak Brook and then annex it into the village of Westmont, we had to file legal action. We did that in February. It's the only way we could have fight what we feel is an illegal action by Oak Brook to get that piece of property out of Oak Brook, so then we had control over it, so we can then annex it into Westmont. So on Thursday night, I think you heard some different comments. I read the article in the paper. Our intent all along, the park's intent was a good intent, realized it wasn't going to go anywhere. We withdrew it. Now all we want is that piece of property to be let go of Oak Brook so we can bring it into Westmont. And that's all the park district wants. We're not looking for anything else. I think the impression that some of the individuals are giving is that we're the ones fighting this. No, we're the ones trying to get what we feel was an illegal action by Oak Brook repealed and get that piece of property out of Oak Brook. So I basically, in a real quick couple minutes, just gave you a quick summary of where we're at. I don't know if anybody has any questions. I just wanted you to know if and John Karish is here tonight, one of the park commissioners. The reason we filed a lawsuit is basically because the clock would run out in a year, and the only way we're going to get that piece out of Oak Brook is to file a lawsuit. And if we did not do that, that piece would have remained in Oak Brook. So all we want is it back so we can put it in Westmont. That's as simple as we can do. There's no plans for the property. We're going to maintain it. Couple little thoughts. Over the last year, I can tell you there's been numerous ideas of what to do with the property. And a lot of people have suggested different kind of things we should do. And what we've done is we've continued to maintain it in the same appearance, same quality that we've done for the last 25 years. And I don't think there's any intention to do it any other way. We don't need to have any intergovernmental agreement. We don't need to work with anybody on any other plan or development of the property. We're going to continue to maintain it as we have for 25 years. So I know there's been suggestions. They work with us. We create a first response memorial. Right now, we just want to put this behind us and move ahead. So,
great.
So just as the public knows, then, it can never be anything but open land.
The restrictions are on there. We're not fighting those. The restrictions go with the parcel, no matter if they're in Oak Brook, unincorporated, or Westmont. So there's restrictions. And unfortunately, if we would have known that prior to this whole process, we would have never looked to get the zoning changed. I think the one thing that I mentioned in the letter, back in '87, and I've been around since then, the one thing we would have done, we would have objected to passive. I know that. We would have probably looked at, if they wanted to keep it open space, we would have asked that it would have been under our jurisdiction, under the Park District jurisdiction. Passive is such a vague term. So at this point, all we really want to do is just get it back to normal, maintain it the way we've been doing it. So, any questions?
Is there dialogue between the Park District and Oak Brook?
The attorneys. And I think the way my impression is right now, they feel it's necessary to have some additional agreement. And our position is we recognize restrictions. They're there. They were placed on there by Butler's attorneys, who I think was probably one of the better attorneys. I don't know if John wasn't around then, but probably they had very good legal staff, and they're the ones that put it on the property. There's no need to have this intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Westmont and the Village of Oak Brook. We're not fighting the restrictions. They've been on the property since '87. Problem is we didn't know it till about a year and a half ago. So, right now the only conversation is probably between the attorneys. And we have a court date on June 14th, and that court date is because Oak Brook filed a motion to dismiss our claim that it was done illegally. So we have to go through the court system. So.
I'm sure that you've explained the situation very thoroughly, and people watching this on TV tonight will have a much better understanding of what the status is on that piece of property currently. And we thank you for.
I hope so. That's your intent was tonight.
You know, it was implied Thursday night that even though this is between the Park District and the Village of Oak Brook, that the village is definitely involved. And I certainly don't see it that way. I see it as a Park District issue along with the Village of Oak Brook. I can't speak for the other trustees, but I support the Park District 100%. And I certainly hope that there's a victory here.
Thank you. Well, really, the Village of Westmont is not involved unless somebody brings you into it. And I think that's what Oak
They're trying to bring us into it.
Is to get the governmental bodies to create some sort of intergovernmental agreement. It really doesn't involve the Village of Westmont. It involves the Westmont Park District. We own the property. One of the parcels in Westmont, the other parcel is now in Oak Brook again. So we're just asking that they let the parcel go.
Pretty
like
simple
they did originally.
Pretty simple
and
request.
allow us then to have all of our property back into the village. So,
Thank you, Ron.
all right, thank you.
Thanks, Ron.
Ron, anything?
That is it, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Unfinished business consent agenda. Board to consider an ordinance creating a consent agenda section of the village board meeting agendas. We have a motion.
So move, Seneca.
Second, Nero.
Discussion.
I just wondered if perhaps we could put this off to the next set of meetings, since Trustee Emery brought this up in the first place.
Okay.
And she may have some comments she'd like to make, if anyone is okay with that.
Do you want to postpone?
I'd like to. I'd like to give her an opportunity to be here.
Okay.
I don't think she would matter whether we vote or not tonight.
I still would like to give her that opportunity. I mean, she has done that for others in the past, and I think it's just courtesy.
Okay.
We have a motion for postponement.
So move.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Fleming.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow.
Yes.
Next item. 18 West Quincy Commuter Train Station Downtown Development Permit. Or to consider to postpone the following request for the Westmont Cafe at the community train station at 18 West Quincy. Point A, an ordinance approving B1 Limited Business District Development Permit, and point B, an ordinance approving a license agreement for use of the space within the commuter train facility.
Motion approved, Scott. We have to do it both of them at the same time or separately?
No, it's just one motion to postpone.
Second, Fleming.
We have a motion and a second to postpone. Any further questions? Roll call on the postponement.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Fleming.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Next item. 105 East Ogden Avenue, Pet Supplies Plus. Special use request. Variation request and site and landscaping approval. Board to consider ordinances approving the following requests from Pet Supplies Plus. Number 1, special use permit request to operate a pet shop in the B2 General Business District. Number 2, zoning code variance request to permit the construction of a pet store, which encroaches into the required 100 feet separation from the residence district. Point 3, zoning code variance request to increase the number of allowable signs from 1 to 2. And finally, number 4, site and landscaping plan approval.
Motion.
Have a motion on point number 1.
Motion to approve. Seneca.
Second, Nero.
We have a motion and a second on point 1 on the question. Hearing no questions, roll call.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Fleming.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Okay. Point number 2.
Motion approved, Scott.
Second, Fleming.
Comments? Roll call.
Trustee Fleming.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Point 3, zoning code variance request to increase the number of allowable signs from 1 to 2.
Motion to approve, Fleming.
Second, Nero.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Fleming.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
And point number 4, site and landscaping approval.
Motion approved, Scott.
Second, Seneca?
Discussion?
I have just a question. We've got the letter about the windows are going to be no less than 25%. I think the only thing that stuck out on me that is they kept referring it to as paper. Could there be anything more specific that they can't put up vinyl banners, cardboard? I mean, I don't know if we needed to be that specific, but.
Our community
Or
development
just call
director is
it,
coming.
or just say no advertisement more than 25%.
The code exemption indicates paper or paper-like materials, which we've traditionally interpreted vinyl, lettering, those types of things to
we
count
covered under
towards
that?
that total.
Okay. Or, because I didn't know if we needed that or just cover it blankly by saying advertisement. So,
Raise a
okay.
good point. What if they had a little mini electronic message board that scrolled across there? Can we probably consider that signage? It's a special use permit, so you can restrict it however you wish, as long as it's reasonable. So-
I think it was very nice of them to reduce it, and I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. I just want to make sure, should something happen, or owners switch, or something goes on, that somebody doesn't come in and misinterpret. So,
You don't want it looking like the convenience store. A lot of electronic signs in the front of it.
Good point.
So what about the electronic sign?
Well, I'm going to clarify that special condition in the ordinance, so it prohibits advertisement of any sort in the windows.
Perfect.
To 25% or less.
Perfect.
Okay.
thank you.
Sounds good.
Got a motion and a second on point 4. Hearing no further comments, roll call.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Fleming.
Yes.
609 North Cass, Circle K Shell, zoning code variance. Board to consider an ordinance approving requests for the following zoning code variances on behalf of Circle K Shell and Corporate Identity Solutions. Point number 1, variance to increase the number of allowable signs. And number 2, variance to increase maximum gross square footage of signage.
Motion to approve 1, Seneca?
Second, Scott.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Fleming.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Thank you. Zoning code text amendment. Board to consider an ordinance approving a text amendment to the zoning code to allow 6-foot solid fences in the front yard and side yard adjoining a street under certain circumstances.
We have to go back and pick up
Oops, oops, oops.
Oh, we missed 2, yeah.
the 2. Yeah,
Oh, I'm
not
sorry.
your fault.
We need a vote on point number 2.
Right.
Motion approved, Scott. Number 2.
Second, Nero.
Roll call.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Fleming.
Yes.
Okay, zoning code text amendment. Board to consider an ordinance approving a text amendment to the zoning code to allow 6-foot solid fences in the front yard and the side yard adjoining a street under certain circumstances. So we have a motion.
Motion approved, Scott.
And a second.
Second, Nero.
Okay. Discussion?
Could we just review it a little bit? I was a little confused watching the tape on Thursday.
Right. You may recall the original draft language stated 6-foot-high fences allowed in the side yard adjoining a street, provided there's no line of sight issues and such other conditions as reasonably imposed by staff. We struck out the conditions reasonably imposed by staff. We inserted an additional condition which was such fence cannot be located more than 15 feet from the lot line. So there has to at least be that separation. Talked through it with staff. We could not think of any other special conditions to attach to this ordinance, but we envisioned a situation where a house which is non-conforming could have a 7-foot setback from the lot line. Without this additional condition, that fence could be awfully close to the lot line and not what was really intended. As you recall, the code requires a 35-foot setback, but we have some non-conforming houses. So we thought 15 feet would be the minimum. So it has to align with the side of the house but in no event closer than 15 feet. If the house is closer than 15 feet to the lot line, the fence has to be set back.
Okay, I thought,
Makes sense.
I was trying to think if it was Ellen or someone who had mentioned that somebody said they felt more comfortable if it wasn't passed, that it still came back to the board for approval. That's why I was wondering if anything was further. It's going to be left in the staff's hand then.
Well, there's no discretion with staff. If they come in with a 6-foot solid fence in the front side yard setback that's at least 15 feet back, and there's no line of sight triangles, yes, staff has an obligation to approve it.
That gives them the clear to approve it then?
Yes.
Okay, and we're talking, when you say in line of house, are you talking about the house or how, the garage too that butts out? Because a lot of times that garage protrudes out, which one of her diagrams was a garage protruded out and the line of the fence was up to the front of the garage, and I didn't know if we were going to stay with the house level.
Well, it
or...
says the principal structure. If it's an attached garage, that would be part of the principal structure.
Okay.
But again, it has to be 15 feet off the lot line no matter what.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
And the reason for this, again, is there have been a number of variance requests. This is to simplify what has been a fairly routine variance and allow staff to approve it without wasting your time and planning and zoning's time.
So we're just redesigning or refiguring staff new guidelines so they can approve more without having to come for variances. I gotcha. Thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Fleming?
I have to abstain. My house is on a corner lot.
Trustee Seneca?
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow?
Yes.
Trustee Scott?
Yes.
Next item, 389 North Cass. ComEd variance request. Board to consider a motion to postpone approving an ordinance granting a zoning code variance to ComEd to allow an increased fence height in an R4 residential district.
Motion to approve, Scott.
Second, Fleming.
We have a motion and a second on the postponement. Any further questions? Roll call.
Trustee Scott?
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Fleming?
Yes.
Trustee Seneca?
Yes.
Thank you. Next item. Class 4 liquor license, Canyons Burger Company. Board to consider an ordinance increasing the number of available Class 4 liquor licenses by 1 to accommodate a liquor license request from WYCB Incorporated. It's Westmont Yards Canyons Burger Incorporated, DBA Canyons Burger Company, located at 243 West 63rd Street. We have a motion.
Motion to approve, Fleming.
Second, Nero.
Discussion? I had some conversations regarding this item with our police chief and our deputy liquor commissioner. And I wonder if he could, Tom, would you come forth? And I just want to make sure that there's no possibility, if this liquor is going to be served in a restaurant, it's fine, but I don't want the liquor getting into the area where children and adults are involved in their various soccer activities.
Based on our conversation, I've had conversations with Deputy Liquor Commissioner Gunther, and he's made it very clear to the property owner that it's not to occur, as that was a request almost a year ago. He's reassured us that he understands that, he understands how important of an issue this is, and that it will not happen. There is a physical barrier window. There's no way, unless someone gets up and walks out. If there is, he's going to be responsible, the business owner or the manager on duty will be responsible for that. We will do walkthroughs, we'll do checks on that, double check and make sure. If we get any complaints of that, we will thoroughly investigate it. And if we have to, we can even try to send officers in undercover to see if it actually happens. So he is aware of your request, Mayor. He is aware of your express desire that that does not happen. And he knows if it does, he will be punished. Punished through the Liquor Commission through hearings and violations.
Thank you.
And to clarify, what we've done with other liquor licenses is we've imposed conditions when the clerk issues the actual certificate or the license. We've had a letter or some sort of memorandum confirming what the special conditions are. Particularly, we've done this with outdoor eating, drinking establishments, and I would recommend putting that limitation in writing.
I totally agree. If it could be in the ordinance, that it's to be, you know.
Not in the ordinance. This is the ordinance that just increases the number of available licenses.
Okay.
So the clerk, at the mayor's approval, will issue the liquor license, and any conditions should either be written on the license or be stapled to it, you know, with a letter signed by the mayor.
We'll make sure that happens.
I have a question, and the gentleman at the podium was the owner of the yard. Is he actually going to be the liquor license, or is Canyon Burgers, or is he owning Canyon Burgers? I was kind of getting confused when I was watching this because that's a franchise. So who's applying for the license and who's responsible?
I don't think standing here we know, but I know that Deputy Chief Gunther, who's the Deputy Liquor Commissioner, makes sure he knows who's applying, whether it's a corporation, an LLC, a partnership, or an individual. He does the background checks on any owner of 20% or more of any legal entity, or if it's an individual, on that individual. I don't recall from Mr. Gust's presentation whether he was directly involved. I thought he, in the ownership or not.
I had the impression, based on conversations with the Deputy Liquor Commissioner, because he was trying to decide how to legally put together the application. My impression was that this is a franchise that he owns or has some ownership interest in. I don't know, Tom, if you know.
I don't know. I do remember from the other night it was a franchise. I know Deputy Chief Gunther has told me he did the background and everything was fine with that. However, I don't know the actual ownership. If you want, I could try making a phone call before the end of the meeting and come back.
I think staff could work on it. It just struck me as, you know, Canyon Burgers should be in here themselves if they're the ones selling the liquor, or is it the owner of the building? I mean, how much does he's going to be the one making sure it doesn't come out, but I'm kind of lost on who's actually the one who's supposed to be applying for the liquor
I got the
license.
sense that it was his franchise,
If I
that he was going to be a
remember right,
franchise.
It says in the packet that he was
Yeah.
responsible for the day-to-day operations of both the Westmont Yard and Canyons, and it is a
Right.
franchise, which means he'd have to buy the franchise.
But that's what I
and it
didn't
would
get.
be-
So he
Yeah,
actually
I mean, that
bought
was
into the
kind of what I walked away with.
If he was going to get permission to serve liquor at the stand outside of this new restaurant, he was going to apply under his main corporation. If he was not going to get that, he was going to create a new corporation or a partnership, I'm not sure what it is,
Okay.
for this franchise.
So he
and
is actually
apply
going to be a
under that.
partner into the Canyons. That's what I thought. Maybe it was a self-standing,
That's how I
somebody else
understood
coming
it.
in.
That was from his presentation on Thursday night, that was my understanding as
Yeah,
well.
that's my understanding too, that it's
Okay.
all under his responsibility, and he's the one that's going to.
Okay, as
apply
long as
for the
he's got a
liquor license.
partnership in it, that's all I wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Trustee Fleming.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Next item, reduction in the number of available massage establishments licenses. Board to consider an ordinance reducing by one the number of available massage establishment licenses.
So move, Seneca.
Second, Nero.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Fleming.
Yes.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow.
Yes.
Next item, Class A tobacco license reduction. Board to consider an ordinance reducing the number of Class A tobacco licenses by one, as there are no current applications for said license.
Motion approved, Scott.
Second, Nero.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Scott.
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow.
Yes.
Trustee Seneca.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Fleming.
Yes.
Next item, engineering services, agreement with Baxter and Woodman. Board to consider an ordinance authorizing an agreement for design engineering services regarding the installation of a new roofing system on the tower and south roof of Headquarters Station. In addition, the engineering services will include replacement of the tower condensing units with new units to be located on the lower south roof.
It's just one motion for all.
Okay. There's one vote for all of Okay, do we have a motion? And we have a motion and a second.
Motion to approve, Scott.
Second, Seneca.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Scott?
Yes.
Trustee Seneca?
Yes.
Trustee Fleming?
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Angel Haven Foundation. Board to consider motion approving the following. We request by the Angel Haven Foundation, a not-for-profit corporation for their annual fundraising yard sale. Point A, approval of a 4-day yard sale at 213 East 55th, June 14 to 17, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Point B, waiver of tent permit fees for this yard sale. And C, waiver of the costs of utilizing the village's loan-a-truck program.
Motion to approve is a block, A through C.
We have to vote on each one of these separately.
No.
No, we don't.
Single
I think we
motion
should
is
be
fine for
Okay.
this.
One motion.
Second, Scott.
Got a motion and a second. Any other questions? You've been doing this for a number of years, and
Yeah, she's really,
judging by the quantity of things, they must be selling a lot of stuff or accepting donations for selling. With that being said, roll call, please.
Trustee Seneca?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Fleming?
Yes.
Trustee Scott?
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow?
Yes.
Finance ordinance number 3.
We have before us on this 4th day of June, 2012, a finance ordinance in the amount of $719,409.40.
motion to approve, Seneca.
Second, Scott.
Discussion on finance ordinance number 3. Roll call.
Trustee Seneca?
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow?
Yes.
Trustee Scott?
Yes.
Trustee Fleming?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Thank you. Purchase orders.
Motion to approve is a block for $142,782.83.
Second, Fleming.
Discussion on purchase orders. Hearing no discussion, roll call. Please.
Trustee Scott?
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow?
Yes.
Trustee Seneca?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Fleming?
Yes.
Okay, unless there's something else to come before the board at this time, I would request a motion to go into executive session as requested by the village manager regarding pending litigation and personnel.
So move, Seneca.
Second, Scott.
Roll call.
Trustee Seneca?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Fleming? Yes. Trustee Scott?
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow?
Yes.
Thank you. This meeting stands adjourned.